parenting styles are different.
Oh yes, our parenting styles are different.
But there's no judgment there. Like,
so let's see, when Porter was a year and a half, I was very pro vaccinating. When this will also explain me to a T. I took him in for his 18-month appointment, and I got a very strong impression I need to not vaccinate, which kind of was surprising to me, because that's not, I was very pro vaccines. And so I came home and I was going to mention it to my husband, who was extremely pro vaccines. Like, so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to bring this up. Well, my husband comes home that day and is like, I had a really strong feeling we can't vaccinate anymore for Porter, for that, him specifically. And so that was my end to vaccinating that son. I'm still like looking at what I need to vaccinate, if we're going to vaccinate specific ones for Jamie, but that's me to a T, where I go very much off my feelings. If I feel like specifically I need to do something, I will. And that's for me a big, but I don't care what other people do, because for me, I have a strong feeling.
Yeah.
So,
and then there's me that has to research, and
she has preemie babies.
I have preemies. I have 2 preemie babies. Ella got her finger smashed, and I researched the best orthopedic surgeon, and I researched how, like, different techniques to strengthen her hand, and physical therapy techniques, and all of these things that I have to, like, meticulously research it and put my pros and cons. And so I do vaccinate my girls because of my research, not my gut feelings. It's my research, but my research does guide my gut a lot more than, anyway.
Whereas my feelings guides my,
yeah,
how I do everything. It's all based off my feelings.
But the moral of the story is that I accept her. That has dog hair.
I'm not gonna eat that one. I will eat things off the floor, but not on the dog food or dog hair.
It's okay, she'll eat it. I bet you it fell directly on Sammy before she picked it up too.
Like, I can't eat the one that has dog hair. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
What were we talking about? Let's see.
Oh, we just have different.
Yeah, we have differences, but we love and accept each other for what it is, and we've kind of come to the realization that God sent these kids to us for a reason, and that we're supposed to parent them that way, and that's just the way that it has to be. Like, that's the way that it is. And so if we can love and accept each other, and there goes the camera again. Ella, don't grab the camera. Yeah. Another thing I was actually thinking about is that a lot of the things with friendships is that, like, for example, Tess could feel like I'm taking advantage of her, or that I could feel she's taking advantage of me. And we kind of talked at the very beginning of our friendship. I bought something for you, and you were like, oh, I've got to get you paid back. And I kind of said, as long as you're worried about keeping things equal for me, and I'm worried about keeping things equal for her, that our friendship will work out.
And that goes for money, watching each other's children, helping each other out with different, like, we've helped clean each other's houses before.
We've done dinners together.
Yeah.
We've, like, and that's, it's, is Tess ever going to feel, and that's my thought. My thought is, as long as Tess feels that it's even and equal and fair, then I can be happy, because we're thinking of each other.
Yeah, that it's not, that we each don't feel like we're getting taken advantage of. And I think that's a huge part in friendships, where you can feel that, or even like with other people, when we get other friends, that we always know, like, we're still friends. There's not that, like, oh, you have another friend now that's taking my, and I'm like, what did I tell you the other day? I was like, I'm not worried about anyone taking my place because I'm too cool or something. Like, but it's true. Like, it is. It's because, like, when you find that,
there are experiences that you and I have been through that, I mean, Porter and then Jamie's birth was an amazing thing for us, and
she was at Jamie's birth with me. So
your emotional support through Ella, Tess was working, but was constantly texting me as I sat on the couch doing nothing for a month.
And there's been so many, but, like, we both have depression, we both have anxiety, we both have, and those things, we can feel it. Like, I remember there was one day she wasn't messaging me, and when she did, I was like, something happened. Like, I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, I was like, are you okay? And I was like, oh my gosh, did I do? And then I was like, no, I didn't do anything. So no, like, but I was like, and her depression had set in from something, but I could tell, and I wasn't like, oh, she's mad at me, and then like it was something got off balance in your life, in your relationship, or and it was great for us to talk, like, that we worked things out.
And you didn't take it personally. You weren't like, oh, she's not coming over to my house like she's supposed to be. It was, okay, you do what you need to do to take care of you. And
or like I was supposed to be at her house like at like lunch today.
You got here at 3:30.
Yes, I did. But she was very understanding that concealer on my floor everywhere. Anyways, and so then I had to put Porter to a nap so that I didn't harm my child.
Well, and that's another thing. Like, we can message each other and say, you know what, we're having a really hard mom day.
Yes.
And to know that there's no judgment.
Yes.
To know that it's okay.
Yeah, and we've talked about this multiple times. We prayed for a good friend. We prayed and prayed and prayed to find somebody that would understand us, because I've had good friends in my lifetime. Don't get me wrong, I do have good friends. But there's a little bit of a difference when you find that friend that you get to such a deep level that they come to your birth. So I actually messaged her, or did I message you or did I call you? And I basically said I just got the feeling that I needed to take all my pills, and just be gone, because I was so.
Because depression had set in, and it's tough.
And so she was like, do I need to come over? Go put your pills in your car. Is Jaren coming home soon? Are you talking to Jaren? Like,
well, and there was, like, I was, okay, let's make a plan. Let's move forward. Let's talk to your OB.
But it's not, there was never one moment where she was like, either
you're going to hurt your child, you've got to be taken away from him.
Yes, because those
are fears.
That is a big fear, that when you post that you are suicidal or you have suicidal thoughts, because I know I have suicidal thoughts, but I am not, like, the medication's helping me enough, like, that I know, like, oh, that's not real, like, those aren't real thoughts. But that's the biggest fear, when you have those thoughts that somebody's going to try to take away your child, think that you aren't
a fit parent,
a fit person in general, or just think you're crazy because they haven't experienced it for themselves. Yeah. So finding a deep friend where you can talk to that's, I would like to say it's rare, but I think if you can get to that depth of a conversation, they're not rare. It takes a while to trust somebody, though, because I don't feel like we trusted each other off the bat. I think it just has developed over time. Well, I mean, we knew each other for 2.5 years before that.
Yeah, about 2.5 years. Yeah. The other thing is, and I don't know if it got cut off, but Tess talked about the fact that we had both prayed for a friend, and we very much believe that, you know, it's actually really funny because we talked a little bit about when we first met. And I don't know if you vividly remember, but we were in Moab and you were picking up rocks.
Oh, yes, I was.
And I had my sweet Miss Danica, so I only had one. So I only had one, and then and I remember we talked, and then I got in the car with Carson and I was like, she's gonna be my friend. Like, I can see us getting along. And that night we came to your campsite and we all did dinner at your campsite. And we were talking then, and there was a lot of openness and honesty between us, even at that early stage.
No, that was the next year.
Was that the next year?
That was when Mike and Amy were going to get married.
Yeah.
So it was the next year. So yeah.
So I guess it kind of evolved slowly until we met, until Porter was born. But there was a lot of prayers involved in that, and a lot of
being open. Because that's something too. I'm a very, very open person, and Karli is as well. And that actually turns off a lot of people, a ton of people, because I remember my mom telling me this, like, when you're dating people, don't let them know, like, you gotta
don't tell them all of it.
Yes, but that is so me. And so I was like, well, I don't really want to marry somebody that doesn't love who I am. Jaren, he got the full-blown story with me, like, on right on night one, and he did, but Jaren loved that about me, and that's what I wanted, and that's what I wanted in a friend too, that wasn't scared off by my being honest, but also you can sometimes take people's honesty as a showing off, or like, but no, that's the way you get deep relationships with people. You have to be honest, you have to be honest with yourself and be honest with other people. But another thing with finding a great friend though is you have to love their kids with a deep love, and her kids are my kids.
And you know, it's funny, when we set up the will, Oh, Ella, are you calling somebody? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I am.
when we set up our will, like Carson and I were very specific that what we wanted for our kids was what was best for them and not to give them to a specific person. So it's actually set up that you and Jaron and my mom and dad and my siblings and Carson's best friend and his spouse will actually come together in some way, shape, or form and talk about who can meet our children's needs in that moment. And knowing that Tess can be there and say, you know what, I can give them a home, or you know what, I know that it would be better for them to go with their grandparents, or whatever it is, because I know Tess loves and cares for my children that much, that if something were to happen, the worst case scenario that Carson and I were both gone, that they would be cared for, because I know she's there to care for them.
Yeah. And I mean, she had Porter for the first 6 months of his life and watched him. And
well, I had him for the first 6 months, and then he quit working,
yes.
and then I had him until I got pregnant, until I went on bed rest with Ella. So I had him until January before Ella was born.
So she had him almost for a full year. Yeah, that she watched him while I was still working, and it felt so nice to have somebody that loved my child, especially Porter. Let's clarify
his chaos.
Hi, Porter. Speaking of the devil, he's hard, and she knows. She knows he is and loves him still for his unique personality
and his rambunctious behavior. Huh?
So we're learning, and the nice part is she's learning with me. We've learned together what works for him, what doesn't work for him, what works for each one of her children, because each of them are very unique. Yeah, well, and it's nice to have somebody other than our husbands to bounce ideas off with parenting too. Like I can call Tess and be like, Danica's having anxiety because of snakes again. Like, what should I do? Well, and it was funny because the other night I was like, it's this snake in this story, an episode, and our other friend was like, yeah, it's actually there, and I thought she was making it up. So it's nice to have that other friend that you can be honest with. Watch the episode. But.
I know. Well, but she could have, because she has it on her tablet.
Oh, that's true.
Anyway, but to have that friend that you can bounce around ideas with too, and be open and honest. And Tess understands my parenting style and supports it enough that she can actually recommend things in my parenting style too. Well, and Karli's very pro openly nursing. That was something that, like with Porter, I never openly nursed. I would nurse anywhere that I was comfortable with, but I was never openly nursing, and she's given me the confidence to be able to openly nurse. Like we do the 2-shirt method, so we're not like, it's not like, yo, here's all my boobies. But she's given me the confidence that I can do that, which has been so much nicer since I have a June baby. It's been hot, and so it's been so much nicer than like getting the blanket and covering myself. Speaking of, we should probably end because we're just gonna ramble forever. Yeah, we are. We can talk forever about anyways, that's why we've become friends, and we know that you can find a friend, look at the friends you already have and create a deep relationship with them, because it took us years to find each other in a deep relationship. Yeah, pretty much. Now it sounds like we're married. Well, we basically are. It's true. It's true. Anyway, so look out for our next video. Bye. We'll ramble about next.